He's Adam Goncha, everybody. Adam Goncha! Adam!
What's happening?
What's happening with you, Screechy?
Screechy.
No, I mean, the last time you were here, you were screaming so hard at 9 or 10 in the morning. I felt bad for you. It was awesome, though.
No need to feel bad.
How's your throat?
That's what I do. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, my throat's great.
It's tough singing at this time of the day, though, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it's a little tough. You got to get some rest. You need sleep.
Are you going to be able to sing a little bit for us or no?
No.
Okay.
No.
Want Phil to sing one of your songs?
Yeah, I want to hear. I wouldn't mind hearing these guys do something.
But it's been a while since we've seen you. You've been pretty busy, and the new record stuff.
Yeah. We dropped a new record in October and did a tour in October. And then actually we came home and at the end of October and we've had some time off. We've actually haven't been too busy over the last little while.
Liam Titcomb was in here last week, and he was talking about touring in a 1991 Winnebago that broke down.
Right.
Those days are long gone for you, right? The 91.
Hopefully. Yeah. I mean, you never know. The music business is pretty fickle, so who knows, man?
How do you guys travel?
Mm-hmm.
We have a few buses that we roll in, so right at the moment.
Are they pretty comfortable? I mean,
oh yeah.
I know you see them on TV, like these big, extravagant tour buses. But like inside, you get it's a bus, but you're pretty comfortable. You can kind of move around. You can have some privacy if you want.
Yeah, when we go out on tour, I mean, I get my own bus. I take my own bus out, and the last bus that I had was that bus that you probably see on TV, the one they use for the Extreme Home Makeover edition, that big bus they pull up in. That was the bus that I had, so it was actually pretty comfortable.
Come on.
And yeah, it was, yeah. So, I'm not, no complaints. Yeah.
They're even hooked up to satellite, these things, aren't you? Like for watching television, like moving satellite?
It's a home on wheels, especially, when you're out touring for a month or 2 months or 3 months or at a time. You need everything.
Last week I watched a special on Netflix about Air Force One. It's like, that's unbelievable. I mean, it's literally a flying hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So you figure, if the president has to go from here to the other side of the world, it's like he's got a bed and he's got showers, he's got everything.
The coolest thing about Air Force One is they refuel it in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Do they refuel your bus?
Well, it's moving.
While we're moving? No, we got to stop to do that.
Like Goncha's like, I don't want to stop between here and Winnipeg.
I do have a shower, though.
Oh, do you?
What's that like, having a shower while a bus is moving? That's got to be weird.
I actually don't shower while the bus is moving. And if I have to, or if I do for any reason, if it's a long, long drive,
right,
I'll let the driver know that I'm jumping in the shower, so he will actually slow down and just kind of take it easy,
Yeah, because an abrupt stop and you're out in the middle of the living room, right?
Is the reason you do that you fall down the shower, you knock yourself out, and the driver has
just roll all the way to the front. Yeah.
But the reason you do that, I guess, versus a hotel is because a show will end, and you have to move on to the next stop.
Yeah.
Rather than stay over, fly, or bus the next day, you just get right in. And are you comfortable enough, I guess, after a while that you can just go to sleep and then you're fine?
Oh yeah. You get comfortable. It's after you've done it long enough, you sort of get used to. You get used to crashing on on the bus while it's moving. And that sort of thing. So yeah, it's very comfortable.
What would you do? Are you constantly writing music?
Yeah. Yeah, so, all the time.
Like you're inspired by something, so you just grab a pad and pen and...
Yeah.
So you're that type of...
Yeah.
So when you're on the bus, do you do a lot of writing? Or?
Yeah, I do a lot of writing.
Yeah.
I've been working a lot on, a solo record, solo project, and the writing has been great. It's just, I just kind of write whenever I get the opportunity.
Because I've heard other artists say, sometimes they don't do that. It's totally shut out, and then they just realize, okay, time to start writing again, and they go off somewhere and start writing.
Homework done the night before it's due.
That's kind of the way the band, 3 Days Grace. That's kind of the way that we do it. We all have ideas that we've maybe come up with on the road or come up with here and there, and then when it's time to really put the songs together, that's the way we do it as a band.
It's funny because sometimes people will talk about writing stuff for their solo work versus the stuff they write in the band, and I always, one of my biggest, a big fan of is Steely Dan, and Donald Fagen often will write stuff on his own and do albums on his own, but to me, they just sound like Steely Dan albums without Becker.
Right.
And in fact, sometimes Becker will play on them. So what's the difference between writing something that Adam Gonche might like to record on your own versus a song you go, that'd be good for the band?
Well, I mean, I grew up, my influences were, when I was growing up, my parents were listening to like the Beatles and Dylan and Joni Mitchell and, lighter stuff. And so really, I that's sort of ingrained in me, and it has been since I was super young. When we formed the band, I was 14, and then the Seattle music scene broke out, and that was huge. And then that really influenced, what I was writing then. And the band, it started from there, that influence. So really, I mean, the solo stuff that I do, it's back to, it's really getting back to, it's getting back to my roots and to,
Well, those artists you named are more like, they're telling stories in songs.
Yeah.
Whereas the, that Seattle sound, the 3 Days Grace sound is like a big wall of rock sound in some ways.
Right.
Do you ever find yourself writing an Adam Gonche song, you think, oh, this would be good, this is a good story, and then you kind of go, I can adapt this to make it a 3 Days Grace.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's happened a lot. Yeah, quite a few times. Yeah.
Neil Young sort of wrote a song about Omimi, and then there was Tragically Hip did Bob Cajun. Have you written anything about your area of the metropolitan Peterborough?
The P-Dot.
The P-Dot. No, not specifically the town. I mean, what you're referring to, Helpless, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never really mentioned, Norwood in a song or Peterborough in a song or anything like that. But
the influences there, I'm sure.
Yeah, like it's a lot of the lyrics and stuff in a roundabout way come back to that.
Are derived from you growing up, yeah.
Yeah, they're derived from me growing up and in a small town and people in that town now, and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So one of the reasons that Adam has come back is and we mentioned it at the beginning of the show, and we'll get into it in more detail, is roadrecovery.org. And Catherine Harrison. Where's Catherine? Hi, Catherine.
Hi, Catherine.
Catherine, you seem very nice.
Sweet woman.
Catherine, would you like to take this just for a second, Kelly? Catherine, you seem a very nice person.
Chair.
And we'll talk about the idea of what Road Recovery does with Adam and Catherine. Welcome, Catherine.
Thank you very much.
Was this a scary proposition when you figured, I'll go on the Humble and Fred show. I don't know what's going to happen. They'll probably talk about trailers and stuff.
Not at all.
Winnebagos.
Not
you
at
guys
all.
do talk about trailers and Winnebagos.
I was more concerned about the other commentary earlier in the
20 minutes. I'm sorry, sweetie. What's that?
Nothing.
We have a
I'm
call
not scared
we do.
of you is what I was
you
talking to Adam about.
Because we're very, very nice people. And how did you get involved with Road Recovery, and what is it exactly?
Well, it's Road Recovery is an organization that they raise money and help youth with that are facing addiction problems, other adversities in their life. But they use what's cool about the organization is that they use the influence of musicians and artists that have been through the same sort of situation that they're going through, and they try to connect the two and just sort of give kids, I guess, and younger people that are going through that sort of thing some hope. Yeah.
The cool thing about it is really it comes into play at a really critical part of recovery treatment, which is post the acute treatment phase, when kids and young adults have to get back into the regular everyday living, clean and sober in a sustainable, healthy way. That's where these programs are in play. And so, as Adam alluded to, they marry the entertainment industry and professionals who've gone through some of these similar adversities with these programs programs. And so the kids have both their own peer support, other kids who have gone through this, but they also have people, like Adam and other industry professionals who've gone through these adversities, who have faced these things. And so they have these adult mentors, to not only talk about recovery, but to coach them through some of these creative workshops.
Yeah, that's interesting because, as kids evolve as kids into teenagers, often they won't take advice or listen to people. But if they're going through something and somebody like Adam comes along, hey, I've been there, then all of a sudden,
absolutely,
they'll stop down and listen. So, I mean, that's a great program. So, and what type of professionals are we talking about, even outside of the music industry and what?
So it started primarily in music, but they've branched out now just to the arts in general. So I know that they do have some programs with drama. They have programs with visual arts, spoken word, lots of things. And they're continuing to develop the programs, obviously, just to ensure that the kids who require these programs or want access to them have programs that are also of interest to them as well.
And how has the program been received? I mean, I know it sounds great, but at the grassroots level, I mean, what kind of effect has it been having with actual kids?
As far as I know, it's had a massive effect, and it's been around they've been around for
15 years now. Yeah,
roughly 15 years, and so it's done, the program's done really well.
How did you hear about it, and why are you involved?
Well, the funny thing is that I met Catherine a long time ago, years ago, when I played a few Jeff Buckley tributes, and Jeff Buckley is one of my favorite artists of all time, and he was an advocate for road recovery, and so I got introduced to road recovery through the Jeff Buckley tributes, through Jeff's mother, through Catherine, through and it's just an organization that I've sort of followed, and kept my eye on, over the last 15 years, 10 years, so it started really with me playing some Jeff Buckley tributes, and getting influenced, by I don't want to put you on the spot.
You're a busy guy. You have a tough schedule, but do you have some hands-on with some of these kids?
When we actually when I went through my struggles and my addiction problem, and I did actually do an acoustic tour while we were on the road. 3 Days Grace was on the road. I did an acoustic tour of different treatment centers in the U.S. and
wow!
And I went into these treatment centers and played acoustic songs for these kids, and talked to them, answered questions, and so
the answer is yes. That's pretty direct and pretty powerful when someone like you, who's open about having some struggles with some of the same things they're dealing with, to be there at arm's length to touch you and to talk about some of the things they're going through. That is very hands-on.
Well, it was very, for them, I think it was helpful, for the people that were there, and
helpful for you too, I bet.
Absolutely. It was very cathartic for me to be able to go in and talk about what I had been through, and answer questions, and sort of just to sort of remember, So you always have to remember.
You said you first started the band when you were 14. Like, what were your struggles? What age? And how did it end with what?
Well, really, I remember 14. My first year of high school was when I started, to party. And it seems like it seems that way for most kids. I think when they first get into high school, not all kids, but just some kids. I don't know, I think it started when I was 14. I started drinking and just doing, and just smoking, whatever, and then it just kind of led to other stuff, and eventually, by the time I was 18, 19, 20, I was up here in Toronto, living in Toronto, trying to work on the band, but, still partying all the time. And so really from the age 14 until, 2007, roughly, I was just nonstop. Yeah.
But 3 Days Grace is a huge international act, so to have that on your plate, but still sort of rise to what you are, I mean, how did that happen? Like, who helped you along the way? Because at any point, if you were addicted to whatever, it could all fall apart.
Yeah. It could have fallen apart. It could have fallen apart very, very quickly. But fortunately, it didn't. And I didn't really have anybody, helping me through. I mean, I thought, for the most part, I was hiding it from everybody,
really?
and I definitely wasn't,
Is there something about being a musician or being a rock star in the rock and roll world that, for people that have a proclivity for addiction, which is what you probably had, it sort of makes it seem okay, it makes it seem like, well, everyone's doing it, and maybe does part of you think that it's actually helping you in the creative process?
No, not at all.
When you were
At the time,
did you not think that this was part of the lifestyle, that maybe it was actually fueling some of the creativity?
No, there was a point where I got so addicted to, I got so addicted to something that every day I had to wake up and I needed it just to be normal, just to be myself. So
what was it?
What was OxyContin? Was a
Really?
Yeah, and it was many years of that, and so it was one of those things where I just needed it to be normal, to feel normal, and it was I was basically like a zombie, like a walking zombie. I'd go through every day and do what I had to do, but really in the end, no, it wasn't. At no point did I feel like it was, it was helping. That's all.
But just to your point, Howard, I think one of the critical pieces of this program is to sort of demystify this sort of sex, drugs, and rock and roll thing. So especially for teenagers, to your point, these are kids in their identification era. They're trying to figure out who they are. They're trying to be cool. They're trying to fit in. And a lot of those activities revolve around some sort of substance and some sort of role models. And those role models are often in the entertainment industry. And so one of the things that Road Recovery has been very open about is sort of debunking some of those sexy myths of substance abuse and why, they've aligned people like Adam and many other celebrities who've struggled with this to say, hey, I'm actually doing really well in my entertainment career now. I'm clean and sober. I'm healthy. I'm producing. I'm touring. I'm still that cool guy. And I can tell you one story that I saw when I was in New York at one of their functions a few years ago, just with respect to that age. There was a girl who was part of their band. It was part of their recovery programs. I think she was 12 or 13. Really, really cool. We all have kids here. And she stood up and said that without Road Recovery and their programs, she didn't know where her life would be. And that she was proud to say that she had been clean and sober for 1 year. This is a kid in middle school, right? And I was sitting, and I thought, inspirational, courageous, gracious, and those role models, by sharing their vulnerability, enable these kids to kind of step up and do that, right?
Well, especially because Adam has, when I asked you if you've had any work in the field, and you talk about playing acoustically at some of these recovery centers, I mean, when somebody looks up to someone like you and you can talk the talk, you can say, I've been where you guys are. I know what it's like to get up every day and have to do something just to get back to the sort of neutral where everyone else feels. I mean, that's pretty powerful stuff. And that's why I guess, Road Recovery has been so successful, because it's not just people lending their name who have no experience. A lot of times people will just go, oh, okay, I'll play your charity function. Sure. But that's quite a big step for someone like you to say, I'll not only admit that I've done this, but I'll talk to people that are in recovery to help them along.
Yeah, I mean, and that, not really, that's, when you look at the 12 steps, not, it's just, it is the 12th step, it's part of the 12th step.
So do you do anything? Do you even drink anymore?
No.
Like nothing?
Nothing.
Wow.
How about smoke cigarettes?
I do. Yeah.
Any touchy selfies? Is that still part of the recovery? Because I'm not giving that up.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm giving no.
No. I mean,
I'm not giving that up.
not gonna say no.
Is that one of the
but-
12 steps? Because if it says if step 13
Now you're
is stop
getting-
touching
now
yourself,
you're-
I'm not doing it.
No, that's not step 13. There is
Okay.
there is a 13th step, but we won't get into that.
You know, we've often talked on this show about,
Poor Catherine.
you know, be
I
it
love every
Bono,
second.
be it Bono with U2, or you mentioned the Beatles, a lot of big bands. The stuff that they produced at such a very, very young age. And I look at you, and you're what, 34 years old? So, I mean, you've lived a lot of life now. I mean, you're 34 and absolutely clean now, and you'll probably never, ever, for the rest of your life, obviously, right? Because
Well, at least for this day, right?
No, but you
Exactly.
I mean, you've made that decision, and really, for the best thing for Adam Gonche is to never touch anything again.
Yeah.
And you're a pretty young guy, so you've lived a lot of life in 34 years too.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and it's just one of those things I know. I mean, my drug of choice really wasn't alcohol or anything like that. I mean, but I do know that if I did, you know, have a drink here and there, eventually it would lead me down
Go the wrong way.
path, yeah.
How did that start, the OxyContin? Like, how does that start?
Somebody just gave me one, and it was just one of those situations. I was working at here in Toronto. I was working out of a sales office on the phone. You know, it was a really crappy job. I was just selling stuff to people on the phone, and it was just, I guess, through the office. You know, it was people had them floating around, and it started there.
You know, what I thought Fred was actually going for is a lot of those people, you know, we're all big fans of the Beatles and Neil Young and some of those artists from the 60s and 70s. I'm always fascinated by the body of work they were able to produce while being so fucked up they couldn't function day to day. Like, and I think that's where a lot of that, the myth of the rock star, creative genius, blah blah blah, but it really is just myth, because I think a lot of those people would have done that anyway. You know, John Lennon would have written those songs without being on LSD. Maybe not Strawberry Fields, but
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a tough one, but I know. I mean, you know, nowadays, if you're in a band and you want to make it and you want to continue, you know, and make money and have a career in the music business, you have to take it seriously. And I know bands and artists that you know, recently just get signed and think it's just a party, you know, and it's really not. It comes, you know, if you don't take it seriously, and if you don't really straighten up and work every day, because that's really what it is. If you
big
don't,
business.
yeah, and if you don't do that, if you just party every single night and wake up hungover the next day and then play a show, you know, completely wasted, then
eventually it catches up to you.
yeah, and the band doesn't last.
It's the smart guys that know that it's show business, mostly business, a little bit of show.
Yep.
You mentioned that 12 or 13-year-old. What are kids doing nowadays? Like, what are...
I don't want to know, because I have a 13-year-old at home.
I have a 14-year-old.
I don't want to know.
Like, I mean, alcohol's obvious because it's easily accessible.
Yeah.
But I'm just, what else kids are doing now? You know, and I went to high school in the 70s, long before all of you people.
You guys were huffing gas.
No, it was $2 tabs of acid out of, you know, lockers, and I just wonder what the kids are doing now. I don't know.
I really don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of different things out there, and you know, I don't know specifically.
I guess it all depends.
I imagine smoking weed is something that's, you know, is a big thing, and then it leads to other stuff.
Especially the shit that they grow here in Ontario now. Holy
It's outrageous.
Christ.
It really is. Catherine Harrison and Adam Gonche, roadrecovery.org. In our last couple minutes here, we have to get a couple other people on. So just tell us, is there something, besides telling people to go to the website, is there something that we can promote? We'll definitely put the link on our site and on Facebook. And I want to ask you a Facebook question in a second.
Okay.
Yes, we do want to promote something. Go ahead.
Absolutely. August 12th, we're doing a
December 12th.
Yeah.
I was thinking August, man. You better come back.
We are so proactive.
You guys are so
We
way
are
ahead.
so proactive.
Coming up August 2013. We're
gonna do it.
Mayans are wrong.
Mayans are
If
wrong.
these Mayans,
We just want to make sure
what is
we're
with
way
these
ahead of
Mayans?
schedule.
We're not planning, but should the Mayans?
We're gonna
be
do it
wrong,
in August as well.
Right.
Next August. All right.
All right.
Okay. So there you go. All right.
Preamble
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
the
It's in
pitch.
December. Sorry
8
about that.
days from now.
I don't know what I was thinking. December 12th, we're actually doing a fundraiser in Peterborough at the venue. 3 Days Grace is playing a show at the venue in Peterborough to raise money for roadrecovery.org.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's not a bad venue. That venue. They've
venue?
they've turned that around.
Yeah, they've actually made it quite nice.
As a matter of
It's a
fact,
nice
David
place.
Wilcox was there just this past Friday
And,
night. I
what's
was
it
wishing.
hold?
Huh?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's
No, we wouldn't get 1,000 in there. Several hundred.
I think maybe 700
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
7 or 8.
Okay,
Yeah,
800
yeah.
people.
And raising money for road recovery the December 12th and August 12th as well. There'll be something. We'll figure.
Oh
it out.
yeah, August 12th we'll figure something
We're
out.
gonna do something August 12th.
The other thing too is what we're doing. 3 Days Grace. We're doing three charity events. December 11th, 12th, and 13th. All at the venue. 3 shows in a row. 3 nights in a row. The first night, the James Fund, which Brad is, which is really close to Brad's heart. We're raising money for the James Fund. December 12th, the Road Recovery, obviously, and then the 13th, all the proceeds are headed to the Herbie Foundation.
Cool.
So
That's
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
It's great news and a great way to see the band in an intimate setting for 3 days in Peterborough in December and then again in August.
Although, why don't you write a song called Norwood and then have a big concert in Norwood next summer?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ever going to go back to Norwood. Okay.
Oh yeah, I've been there. It's a quaint little place.
Yeah, it's quaint.
Speaking
that's
of
a nice
charity,
way to put it.
And I'm in no way, by the way, what I'm about to say, in no way am I equating Humble and Fred to people that are in serious trouble and need your help.
Right.
But speaking of charity, at this time of the year, getting ready for the holiday season, Jesus' birthday, and to Hanukkah.
You're going to ask me
Wait a
to
minute.
do something.
No.
Okay.
Regarding
go ahead.
what?
Sorry, no.
Regarding what?
Facebook.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, here's all I'm saying.
Continue.
What if he does it in August?
Here's what
August
I don't care if
12th
you
did.
do it in August of 2014. Here's the thing. You have 4 million people
Right.
on Facebook. We are old men. Dead soon. let me finish, Adam. Adam's killing himself. He's a grandbaby. Look at the face of this child. Not that guy.
What's that guy?
I don't know.
Is
Look
this
at
him in the
face of
bathtub
this
again?
child. Not him. That's you. Get to it. Shut up. Where's the baby?
Come on, navigate.
Oh, fuck, hang on.
It doesn't matter.
Look, there it is. Look at the face of the grandbaby.
Yeah.
That's the grandpa right there.
Wow.
Or as we call him, grandma. But that's a different story. Adam,
It's a different show.
here's the thing. Let me get to this. All you have to do, and it's just, and leave it up, even if you leave it up for an hour, all you have to say is, hey, I was hanging out with Humble and Fred Radio. Like them on Facebook, even if a percentage. You won't do it, but that's fine. Let me finish the pitch.
No, wait a second. You want me to put this
Not
photo
the
up?
baby.
Okay. I thought you wanted me.
baby
I thought you wanted me to post this photo of the baby on the 3
If you
Days Grace
post a
site.
picture of the baby and say this is the offspring of Humble and Fred Radio, humbleandfredradio.com, some version of that. See, that would be so wonderful for us.
Right.
And in this, you could go clickety click,
Right.
and change our lives.
What do I get out of this?
Here's what you get.
Whomp.
The baby.
Wait a minute.
What?
I want the baby.
You get the baby.
Okay?
You
I want
get
the
the
baby.
baby.
By the way, Jason,
I was going to get you a gift basket.
getting them bags?
Wait, yes. Wait, here's what. No, you can't
not
have the
leaving
baby.
without the baby.
Here's what you can have.
Okay.
We raised we got some food for the food bank.
Yeah.
There's lots of those noodles, like those ramen noodles.
Right?
We'll give you
I'll give you a whole. That's 1, 2, 3. That's 12 boxes of noodles. for you.
Wow.
For the holidays.
Wow. I'd rather that go to the food bank than to
Right.
me. So
Okay.
So I don't.
Yeah. Like-
So
That was a test.
Like Adam Gonche
Well
needs
done.
noodles from
He
us.
needs noodles.
Yeah.
I got ramen noodles at home.
You can
I
buy
eat
the
them.
noodle
I like
factory.
them. Yeah, no problem.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
You say no problem, but you really mean it's a
Oh,
problem.
what, you want me to do it right now?
I dare you to do it right now.
I'll do it right now.
I dare you to do it right now.
I'll do it right. Give me this.
Yeah, really? Log into that shit.
Okay. What do you want on there?
What do I want on there? Where?
What he's putting on?
Hey, I was just hanging out with Humble and Fred,
Trying to steal the baby.
trying to steal the. No, what should we have him saying? Now I'm freaking out. Just say I was hanging out, or listen to me today on humbleandfredradio.com. That's all you need to say.
And like them on Facebook.
Like them on Facebook.
And
And
we'll be making
Love
sure that
their
Road
baby.
Recovery has lots of links. So
Okay.
we will spam the universe,
Right.
But with him too.
You know, if there was ever,
I'm getting there.
if there was ever,
Adam Gonche's doing this right now, by the way.
and seriously, if there's ever kids that you run across that are interested in broadcasting or whatever, you could send them by here.
That'd be great. That'd
no,
be great.
seriously.
Yeah,
Hey,
that'd be
Howard?
great.
I know. I was
Yeah.
actually funny you say that because I was thinking if there's something we could do, not that we have any of the kind of juice that these guys have, but if it was something that, as Fred said, somebody that wanted to hang out with us for a few days,
Yeah.
and we got lots of people around here, interns, it would be our pleasure to host them.
Well, that's great to know because, as Adam was alluding to earlier, so they've been around based in New York for 15 years, right? But now they have a model that works. They've had some successful satellite programs in Alaska and other areas in the United States, and now they're looking at branching out into other bases in North America, and Toronto would most likely be one of them. So. Anything like that would be really, really helpful in the near future. So we'll definitely keep that in mind.
No, because I mean, we, as you can see, there's young people around here now. Not that they have problems that we know of, but seriously, we would love to do that.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Because
Yeah.
and again, all our years at the edge, that demographic, that age group, we work with a lot of young people, and anything we could do.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Fred. Yeah.
Where are we at?
Here's what Adam just wrote. He says, Adam, listen to me today on humbleandfredradio.com. Make sure you check out their page and like them. Great guys. That's now been sent to 5.7 million people.
Come on,
Kelly!
Adam. Come on, man.
Adam!
That's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, it's still there. It's up.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna give you a T-shirt.
We're going to give you a humbleandfredradio.com t-shirt. Do we have any salty meat?
Oh, can you some 5-hour energy maybe? Yeah.
Yeah. Get you a gift. Hey, thank you so much.
pressed to do
You know what, sir? I salute you. And we thank you. As
Thank you for
always.
having me. I
And
really appreciate
Adam
it.
Gonche, Catherine.